Hey babes, welcome back to my channel. If you've never seen me before, then why not? Today I'm going to be telling the story about how I nearly died when I was younger, and this isn't clickbait, this is like a real thing that happened. I have like pictures and evidence and proof that I will insert later. So yeah, let's just get right into the video. Also, I know I look really gross, I'm wearing no makeup, my hair looks gross, I just look gross, I feel gross, I have a cold, yeah. Okay, so when I was about 9 or 10, yeah, I was in year 4, so I was about 9 or 10, I had a benign tumour, and a benign tumour is basically a tumour that isn't cancerous, so it won't spread around to your body, and it's not harmful. Well, it is harmful, but it's not as severe if it was a cancerous tumour. The tumour that I had is really, really rare, and it was in my vertebrae here, so my scar goes from the middle of my head down to my neck. Okay, so how I found out that I had this is I was play fighting with my older brother, so he hit me on my neck with my pillow. We think that the tumour hit my thing in my neck that like makes you move basically. So I dropped to the floor and I'm having like full body like tingles, like I can't move. Like ASMR times 100. No, like I couldn't move, I was on the floor, like I didn't know what was going on, I just dropped, like I collapsed, like I fainted but I was awake and I couldn't move basically. So we just decided to brush this off like it was nothing serious. It was the first time that this has happened. So my mum has an Audi and it's a convertible, so to get into the back you have to push the front seat forward. And I was getting out of the car and my brother let go of the seat by accident, and again it hit me and the same thing happened with my neck and my tingles. And we was like, well, this isn't right, because I went completely pale, I felt sick afterwards, like a lot of things just went wrong. So if you didn't know, I have Asperger's, and at the time I had a doctor that I went to see about that, and I think it was one of the like checkups / appointments I was at, and we spoke to him about like what was happening to me, and I got a scan, but I was too young to understand what it was properly then. I was just excited for the day of school, to be honest. So I go for the scan. I don't remember the scan, honestly, I don't really remember it. I just remember vividly just getting to the car, and I remember this like vividly, like it was just yesterday. I can remember my mum is on the phone and her being really upset when she gets back into the car. And that's the moment she found out that I had this tumour in my neck. And they had to move really quickly and really carefully because obviously it's on my vertebrae, which like affects like basically everything, like you're walking, you're talking, everything. And if it grew 6 millimeters longer, it would have paralysed me or even killed me. It was around May time, I went in for my operation. I remember getting onto the children's ward, and I remember, so there's this thing called a cannula. I think you have it, you either have it, no, we have it here. A cannula is put here, and they put a big injection in you, and they stick this like plastic thing, it's attached to your vein, so it's where they put like medicine into your bloodstream. Me being a child didn't want one of these, so I remember clinging onto the hospital bed like saying, no, I don't want it done, I don't want it done, I don't want it done. And my dad and my mum pull me off the hospital bed and sit me in the room, and they're like, oh, look at this Where's Wally book, and I'm just here like, it's here. It's here. Joking, I was a dumb back then. I was probably taking hours to look for Wally. So they stab it in and I'm just like, wig is snatched, hunties. I was shook. It hurt. I go back to my bed, and this is where the main story starts. If you didn't know, I am not the only child. I have an older brother and I have 2 younger brothers, but one of them wasn't alive back then. So my mum couldn't stay with me overnight in the hospital, so my grandma decided to stay with me. I was like never alone because my family like always came to visit like every day. They was always like supportive. They brought me teddies and cars. So I was in hospital for a month, but in that time I made a friend who was so my bed was here and her bed was here, and I'll just explain this like little story now and then I'll get back into the main story. So her name was Ellie, and I think she had a brain tumour. Her parents didn't stay with her at night. I think they lived in Leicester, or they lived Sheffield, or she stayed on her own. And I remember at night she used to cry for her mum, which was honestly heartbreaking because I don't think I would have been as like happy as I was and had a fun time. Well, like not a fun time, but you know, as fun as it can get in a hospital without all my family and friends' support. Yeah, so I'll continue that story later because I don't want to spoil things. Okay, so I remember this vividly as well. Well, I remember like the whole experience from being diagnosed to being better. I remember all of it so vividly because it was such a big traumatic experience in my life and such a big thing. I remember everything, and people thought that I was going to die or I was going to have some serious damage. So I'll insert the photo here of the tumour so you can like get to know like how big it is. It was right on my vertebrae, and that's really, really difficult and dangerous, and now I have some of my vertebrae missing because of it. So I was too young to like fully understand, but I knew that I was really not well. There was something wrong, if you know what I mean. So I was lying in my hospital bed, and this Christian woman, bless her, she came and visited me, and she said some prayers for me, and said her thing and helped me get through the operation. So I get put on this hospital bed because it's the morning of my operation. Mum's with me, my grandma's with me. Other people might have been with me, but I don't really remember. I remember I have a teddy with me. I can't find it now because it's probably packed away, but I have it with me and I've had it ever since I was young. And they're wheeling me down to the theatre. This woman who says to me basically, do you know what a anaesthetist is? And I'm like, does it look like I know what a anaesthetist is? I'm 9. And then she's like, just explains that she's gonna put me to sleep, and then she's like, can you say anaesthetist? So people can't say it, so I said it, and she was like, oh, well, I didn't expect you to say it. And she's like, okay, I'm gonna put this mask on you now. And she put this mask on me, and I can still remember it smelled like strawberries. And she said, well, let's count to 10 together, and you're gonna go to sleep. So we count to 10, and at this point, I'm crying, like, I was saying, like, I don't want to go to sleep. I was scared. Like, there was all these doctors, like, standing over me, and it was me just lying down. I was honestly terrified. And then she was like, okay, let's count again, and I get to about 2, and I'm out. I just remember everything going black. So I wake up, and I can't see anything, everything's black, but I can hear, like, machines going. And then I feel myself being lifted from one thing to another thing. And I still can't see anything. I can just see like darkness and some lights. And I say like, where's my mum? And I start crying. I'm like, where's my mum? I'm terrified. And she comes with my nanny and they hold my hand. And I'm just honestly terrified. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was happening. So I get to another ward this time and meet up back with that girl Ellie. So I don't think she'd had her operation yet, but when I get back, she has this tube up her nose, like both going up her nose. I'm not sure what it did, to be honest. But the next day, they came around with Disney toys and gave everyone Disney toys, which was nice. Okay, so I couldn't walk after this operation because obviously it was on my neck. I couldn't move my neck, I couldn't talk properly, I couldn't eat properly. I was like yellow. Like my skin went a weird colour, I went so skinny, I lost so much weight. It was an awful time, to be honest. I remember one time I was sat on my own and obviously like I couldn't move like my neck properly. And there was these new people who came. So my beds were here and there was beds here. So they was about, so Ellie's here and the new people were about here. And I started like being sick, but I couldn't move, so my head's like this. And ew, it's disgusting. I'm like choking on my own sick basically. And I'm just here like looking for like anyone to notice me because I can't even talk because it's like I'm choking. And the guy runs over to me, he tips me forwards like this and he gets like this bowl and I just throw up all in the bowl and I'm crying, I'm scared, like I nearly choked on my own vomit. Ew. I'm slowly recovering, I'm starting to walk again. I did physiotherapy. I had to be in a wheelchair for some time. I think I was recovering in hospital for about a week, maybe 2 weeks, I don't know. But I finally had enough. I was like waiting to go home. I wanted to go back to how things were, to my family, to my friends. I missed a lot of school during this time. Nobody at school knew where I was or what I was doing. The doctor gives us the okay. And this part, you know, I think of how lucky I really was, because the girl Ellie across from me, as I was getting better, I think she was getting worse. She was getting iller. She needed more medical attention. Her parents would try to come the best that they could, but obviously they couldn't be there all the time. And yeah, so I'm starting to walk again. And I just realised how lucky I am. Like, what if I had what Ellie had? What if, like, my parents couldn't see me all the time? I just felt so bad for her. And so bad that she could see me improving and me getting better, and she was getting worse. So, on my last day, we all gave her a hug, and we gave her this big balloon that I got. Yeah. I honestly don't know what happened to her. I'm hoping she lived. I get out of hospital, I'm staying at my nanny's, and I still couldn't walk properly. I was in the garden on myself, and I was walking down her steps, and suddenly I just go, slide down the concrete steps, and then everyone's just like, oh my god, like everyone's shook, and I'm just like, I laugh. I don't know why, I just laughed. I just remember that part. I go back to school, and I remember, because I don't think anybody knew what was going on. I was gone for such a long time. When I came back in, I felt like a rush of warmth. Everyone came running up to me, all my friends. I was like, Daniel's back. I was like, yes, hallelujah, ladies, I'm back. Everyone just brushed up to me, gave me hugs, told me how much they missed me, and I was like, and I was so happy. But at that age, I didn't really know what self-image was. But now I'm definitely self-conscious about my scar. Believe it or not, this is the first time today that I have ever seen it properly. I try not to look at it, you know. I feel like I'd value myself in a different way if I look at it, because it's ugly. I hate it. You can see the stitching lines, you can see my raised skin, it's pink. I try to look at it the least I can, which is lucky for me because it's right on the back, and I will insert a photo here. Yeah, I think the saddest part of the operation was that I wanted to do gymnastics and pole and silk and hoop, and I started before my operation, I had 2 lessons, and then after I couldn't in case I hit it. Because if I hit it, because I have some missing, it would have gone snap. Like, game over for me, you know. And yeah, that's it. This is pretty much the end of my story. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the story about how I nearly died, how I nearly became paralysed, how, yeah, I'm just waffling on, to be honest. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry I've not been active. I'm currently moving house, hence why I have a different background. My room has been took apart, so I'm filming in here for the moment. So thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and follow my social media links, and yeah, thank you, bye.